Mrs. Unger, it's me, Tim Kennett.
Hey, Mrs. Unger, this is Caleb.
Hi, Mrs. Unger, Pete Ware here.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Thompson Emerson.
Hi, Mrs. Unger, it's AJ.
Garrett Davis.
Kelson Depp.
James Cutnam.
Abby Gray.
Jason Tremblay.
Zach Ellis.
Brad Allman.
Megan Moser Funderburg. Liz Steele-Coates.
Nate Phipps.
Hillary Hannock.
Josh Lake.
I'm Brandon McLean, class of 1995, and I first met Mrs. Unger about 30 years ago when she became our school art teacher. And I was lucky enough to have her as an art teacher for 10 years, all the way through 12th grade. And the things I remember most about Mrs. Unger are first, her challenging us to use our creativity that the Lord had given us to its full potential, whether that meant staying after school or getting into new areas of art, which back then, computer art really didn't exist, and some of my friends there in the class of 95 were some of the first people to actually use a computer to create some digital art.
I remember the first time I saw Mrs. Unger, I was in the 3rd grade. She must have been interviewing for the job that day, and she came to observe my art class. And I remember her standing off to the side quietly, observing us with that steady, intense gaze of hers that misses nothing. And I wondered, who is this lady?
Mrs. Unger is amazing, and I love Mrs. Unger. And I'm so glad that she's being forced to go up on stage in front of everybody and receive this award.
Mrs. Unger was hands down the best teacher I've ever had.
She built a place where we felt loved and accepted, and we saw God's grace. And I think that Mrs. Unger's investment in myself and her other students really glorifies God.
My high school years at DC were a turning point for me. I didn't enter those years with much drive or direction, but through them, and especially the many hours in the art department and on tech crew, I realized God's plan for my life.
You inspired me to try to impact the lives of the people I meet with art as much as you impacted mine.
I became an autistic support teacher because I had an incredible teacher, and she taught me to relentlessly pursue the best in others.
I remember the look on her face when she would examine anything that was created in the art room. She would stand back, get very quiet, and a small smile would come over her face, and 2 words would come out: "Oh yes." Sometimes she didn't even have to say a word, and you just saw the look on her face and you knew that you had created something you could be proud of.
I want to thank you for making an impact on me by helping me understand God's creativity and the importance of fostering creativity in my own life.
She taught me that God is the first and most wonderful artist, and that is an honor and a privilege to participate in the creative process.
I remember Mrs. Unger would regularly tell me these insane, crazy stories of these things that had happened where it seemed like an impossible situation, and then she would always just say, "And then I just gave it to God."
You've been a great friend, you've been a great mentor, and you're easily one of the most influential people in my life to this day.
Sure. I have memories of her demonstrating to the entire class, to which everybody would hurtle around the tables to just watch the magic come alive from her fingertips, from painting to drawing to whatever it would be.
But it doesn't just stop with me, and I think that's one of the coolest things. I'm standing here right now in my daughter's room. She's in 5th grade, and when I look around her room, I see the art that she's created, and I just have to think that a lot of it is due to the influence that Mrs. Unger had on me.
I am now an art teacher.
I sit here in California University of Pennsylvania as a campus minister.
I'm a product designer, and I teach design courses at MIT and at RISD.
Thank you, Mrs. Unger!
I just wanted to say thank you. So many people appreciate you, and
30 years?
It's a good beginning.